He looks like he owns credit. Oh my gosh. Man like Arthur from Batman.
Dzień dobry, assalamu alaikum, ciao, konnichiwa, bonjour, la ciao, and good morning, bonjour. How are you? Hope you're well. It's Friday. Yay! You know, we love a Friday here at James Alexander. Why do we love Fridays? Fridays are the best day of the week. Why are they the best day of the week? Well, there's something about the expectation of the weekend for me anyway, personally. Just love a weekend and love the expectation of it being around the corner. But also from an agency point of view, of course, Saturday is the most important day of the week. Why is it most important, I hear you say? Because that's the day most people will decide to view houses with their family. And they're the days they decide what they want to buy. And so that's why it's so important. So what we do about that is we make sure that everybody that's potentially looking in the area is looking at our stock through us rather than our competitors' stock. And at the moment, that stock is few and far between. As with any agency right now, there's just not enough stuff around, really. So we are really keen to look at your home if you're thinking of selling locally here in SW16, or indeed anywhere. If you want a bit of advice, we're always here for that. We love that. Just working on the podcast, which will be released later on today. Quite a lot of stuff in there that you might find interesting. All the week's latest headlines and what's going on in the property market from the coalface here in SW16. And what's gone on this week? Lots and lots of tenants, so many tenants registering, it's crazy. And I was just looking at something in the report in Inside Housing magazine, the Local Government Association, and that comprises 331 of the 333 councils in England. And basically they're saying that they require the government to ban Section 21 evictions immediately. I mean, please. The idea, so Section 21 is the no-fault eviction. It doesn't mean there's no fault just because it's called a no-fault eviction. It's a way of landlords being ensured that they get their property back. Why might they be serving notice on their tenants right now, do you think? Well, it's likely to be one of two reasons. Number one, the whole buy-to-let thing might not be viable for them anymore because interest rates have, in some cases, quadrupled or even more. And if you take those interest rate rises on their mortgages, and even with a higher rent increase, it just doesn't stack for many landlords. So they decided to sell. So that's the reason there are so many Section 21 notices. But if they remove Section 21, they're going to have to put in other notices. According to the Renters Reform Act, the new notices will be for if a landlord wishes to sell, then he'll exercise his right to serve notice on a mandatory ground, which will be a new ground instead of Section 21. So all that will happen is they'll ban Section 21, and then they're going to say, oh, loads of landlords are serving notice because they want to sell. But they won't listen to what the market's telling them. The message is repeal Section 24, give landlords a bit of a break, and they might stay in the sector, but they won't listen. There we are. That's my rant for the day. Apart from that, busy on valuations and inspections today. Lots of property management going on as well. Hope you're having a great day. Here in Norbury, it's fairly cold and overcast, and we're hoping it's going to get a little bit busier on the phones a little bit later on. But we are very much looking to build stock up now, coming into the springtime. It's when it gets warmer. That's when people come out of hiding and start to look for what's around. And at the moment, the majority of stock that's around seems to be the death, debt and divorce, which is always sad, but it is a supply of property that we have. And aside from that, it's people that see the wood for the trees. There are many reasons why it's a good time to move, especially if you're selling something to buy something bigger than the property you're in now. And by bigger, I mean financially a larger commitment, because actually when property prices chip away a little bit and fall slightly, what happens is that the larger properties tend to drop more than the smaller ones because we're talking about a percentage difference. So in other words, if you're selling at 500 and all of a sudden your property is worth 450, but you're buying at $1 million, then that $1 million will drop instead of by 50, but by 100. Therefore, your net £50,000, if you see my point. So it's well worth moving still if the finances allow, because there won't be as many people moving, so there won't be as much competition. You'll probably get yourself a better deal the other end. The one problem is the restriction on supply does mean there's less around in the first place, and that's what underpins prices as well. So it's a tricky one. But I would always say move when it's right for you, not when other people tell you the market's low or it's high, or some sort of special method of calculating. I've been in this business 30 years, and I can tell you one thing: nobody knows. Even economists, it's all best guess. It's all we can do. The next significant date is going to come up at the middle of about 3 weeks' time, actually, in March, when the Bank of England governor decides, or the committee of the MPC actually decides, whether interest rates are going to go up again. I think we might be at the top of the cycle. I'm hoping we're at the top of the cycle, but we'll only know then. So apart from that, hope you're well. Look after yourselves. And if you can, your family and friends, we'll be back on Monday with another edition. Until then, look out for the podcast. Ciao.